For many of us, Barcelona dominance has been an undisputed fact of life in football. Since 2008, the club has won 29 trophies, including 8 titles and 3 Champions Leagues, and despite the loss of icons like Iniesta, Dani Alves and Xavi over the years, they still boast the best player in the world in Lionel Messi and one of the brightest young stars in the game in Ansu Fati. So why are Barcelona in crisis? According to Spanish press, the club has been locked in negotiations with the squad over a 30% reduction in player salaries as they seek to fill a €97 million hole caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, and which could yet get larger still. Reportedly, the Blaugrana need to trim €190 million from their wage bill or risk going bankrupt, and any disagreement or refusal to pay players their contracted salaries could even see the club's stars released from their deals. But why has the crisis which has affected the whole world hit Barca so hard? We take a look at the club's recent history to find out. Back in the late 2000s, Barcelona finances looked rock solid. While rivals Real Madrid picked up €20 million a year from betting company bwin, then the world's most lucrative such agreement, Barca donated the spot on the famous kit to UNICEF, partnering with the global charity to work on social development projects for vulnerable children. The club's motto, "More Than a Club," meant that in 2011, when Barcelona inked a conventional sponsorship deal with the Qatar Foundation, many fans saw it as a departure from their team's founding principles. But as they pursued partnerships with Qatar Airways, Beko and current sponsor Rakuten, supporters comforted themselves with the thought that Barca's financial future was secure, especially with their present deal bringing in a world-leading €57 million a year. But faith in the hierarchy was misplaced. Since 2014, Barcelona's spending has arguably been the worst in football. Under Sandro Rosé, club president between 2010 and 2014, the club moved away from promoting academy youngsters and instead tried to compete with Real for the biggest Galacticos on the market, and seemed to have dealt their rivals a huge blow when they snared Neymar in 2013 for a fee reported at the time as €48 million. But while the Brazilian helped deliver a treble in 2014-15, he also proved Rosé's downfall, with the businessman accused of misappropriation of club funds, as it was revealed that Barca paid around €30 million more for the wide man than they had originally claimed, and even made a €40 million payment to Neymar's dad. Rosé resigned in disgrace, but his replacement, Bartomeu, continued his predecessor's market strategy. Between 2014 and his resignation in autumn 2020, Barcelona spent around £1 billion on players, with over a third of that going on Antoine Griezmann, Ousmane Dembele and Felipe Coutinho, all failures to one degree or another. And their profligacy wasn't limited to recruitment, as in 2015 they announced plans for a €600 million redevelopment of the Camp Nou, designed to bring the capacity up to 105,000, despite still owing a construction firm €3.5 million for the renovation of the stadium's entrance. That project was due to run between 2020 and 2024, and with huge sums already invested, cash flying out the door on mediocre signings, and little brought in by player sales, Barcelona have wasted the money they have and are only likely to suffer more over the coming seasons. But those aren't the only issues. Like most clubs, Barcelona responded to COVID by immediately trying to renegotiate the salaries of the players on their books. The players eventually agreed to reduce their wages by 70% for the duration of the crisis, and even made an extra contribution to ensure that non-playing staff continue to take home their full pay. But that's only gone part of the way to filling an enormous hole. According to the Global Sports Salary Survey, the Blaugrana have the highest average wage in all professional sport, with players taking home an average of over €11.5 million a year, compared to €7.7 million for big spenders like Man City. In fact, in Ronald Koeman's squad, 12 players earn over €150k a week, and even youngsters are paid handsomely, like 19-year-old Serginho Dest, who was signed during coronavirus but was still given a huge contract worth around €125k a week. But the biggest problem is Lionel Messi. The Argentinian is understandably Barca's highest earner, but his stature at the club and in the game, coupled with his refusal to sign long-term contracts, has left the Spanish Giants in a weak negotiating position, meaning that they now pay the 33-year-old an insane €70 million a year before bonuses. This year's drop in revenue means that 80% of the money Barca make goes on wages, and as a consequence, there was an argument for letting Messi leave when he agitated for a move in the summer of 2020. At the time, pundits claimed that doing so would destroy Barcelona, but when you take into account the team's finances, it starts to look sensible. Yes, it would have made the team much worse and all but guaranteed a lack of major silverware for years to come, but it also would have almost wiped out the club's huge deficit in one go, even without a transfer fee, and staved off the possibility of bankruptcy, which would signal something worse. not only the end of Barcelona as title challengers, but potentially as a top-level club altogether. In order to reduce the wage bill by the necessary 190 million, around the amount that Tottenham pay their entire squad, Barca are having to explore desperate strategies, like naming all their current stars club ambassadors, which would see them pick up their salaries after retirement. And if the players don't agree, which is still possible at the time of writing, the club could be forced to simply refuse payment, which could constitute a breach of contract and prompt an exodus from Catalonia in January, putting the club's value in freefall. By running up a huge bill in an attempt to stay relevant and caring more about their image than their reality, Barcelona may have left themselves with a choice between two kinds of financial ruin. And just as with their on-field issues, Messi might be the only solution. So that's our FD explained on why Barcelona might go bankrupt, but what would you like to see us cover next time? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, give us a like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to never miss a video. We'll see you next time.